We're trying to remain open-minded in terms of what the wider circumstances may have been. What we know is that the behaviour of the sisters on the morning in which they disappeared was very out of character. We don't really understand why they seem to have left their home address and walked to this area in a fairly direct line before the CCTV footage of them is exhausted. One of our theories has to be that they've entered the water for reasons unknown, and that's why so much of our search activity is focused on the riverbank and the harbour itself. But we're not ruling out the fact that they may have left this area by means that we haven't identified yet, so land-based inquiries continue, both in terms of wider CCTV inquiries and house-to-house inquiries, as well as interviews with people who may have known them. Again, we're remaining open-minded, but we're 7 days into an inquiry with an enormous amount of inquiry carried out, and at the moment there's nothing that we've found that suggests criminality or suspicious circumstances. I mean, they may have come to harm. That has to be a theory, in terms of access to the river, but what we don't have is any indication that a third party has been involved in that. Yeah, there was an indication from the person from whom they rent their flat that had concerns that they'd left the flat and indicated they intended to move. So inquiries were carried out at the flat, and the circumstances that were found led to concern around their whereabouts, which was then reported to the police. We instigated inquiries immediately, and as we began to progress those inquiries, the concerns in regards to their disappearance grew because we began to understand how out of character this was. An extensive part of our inquiry has been to try and understand lifestyle, to try and understand what was going on in their lives immediately preceding this, and that there's nothing to give an indication that there were either mental health concerns or any other concerns that might begin to understand what's happened. Conventional inquiries continue, so the CCTV inquiries continue, house-to-house inquiries with businesses. We've got a number of inquiries ongoing to try and interrogate material that was found from the sisters' home address to see if that can help us understand a little bit more about any plans or intentions they may have had beyond the point at which they were last seen. There's also water-based inquiries which will continue for the duration of the week. There was an intention to have air support involved today, but I understand the timeline round about that has been changed on the advice of experts, so that will potentially happen later in the week instead. So an enormous amount of inquiry still ongoing and will remain ongoing for certainly the remainder of this week as we try and understand what's happened.